Hello, my name is Chelsea, and I will be presenting on the short story Two Kinds by Amy Tan and explaining my research and essay outline process for this wonderful work of short fiction. And there will be an emphasis on exploring the psychological dynamic of Asian American identity and intergenerational parenting, which is a very pronounced theme in this particular story. So just a little bit of background about the author herself. Amy Tan was born in Oakland, California to first-generation Chinese immigrants, making her a second generation born in America. So she had very different experiences from her mother in particular. As someone who was born in America and had that separate identity that's very individualistic and very much about self-expression and autonomy. Amy Tan's life experiences directly influenced her work, especially in The Joy Luck Club, a novel from which the short story Two Kinds is derived. Themes of intergenerational relations, cultural identity, and the immigrant experience are heavily pronounced throughout her work. The Joy Luck Club was so successful as a novel that it was made into a film, and that film further explores the dynamics between four mother-daughter relationships and the challenges they endured as a result of different backgrounds between the mothers and daughters and their divergent cultural values. So one of the main reasons I was attracted to this story is I'm a mother myself, and I have a daughter and a son. And I'm very much invested in looking at the outcomes of early childhood experiences and how those manifest later in life based on the parenting someone did or did not receive. There's so many various styles of parenting, many of which are influenced directly by culture, as evidenced in this fiction, and that's I think a semi-autobiographical fiction, but it is so influential and has such a profound effect on someone's life that I'm always curious to learn what the impacts are. So the mother-daughter relationship that is the focus of this fiction appealed to me, like I said, as a parent and as someone interested in the psychological implications of tiger mothering, which is a term that entered mainstream culture as a result of the very popular memoir Battle Hymn of the Tiger Mother by Amy Chua. This controversial term has become synonymous with the stereotype of an overbearing, demanding Asian mother that is reflected in the character Su-Yan Wu in Two Kinds, or The Joy Luck Club. So whether or not there's validity to that stereotype was something I was curious about in my research. I actually came across a variety of psychological journals and academic journals that refuted that sentiment, stating that that is a myth. Obviously, there is no monolith when it comes to culture and when it comes to Asian culture in particular. So I think for the sake of this story, though, the style of tiger mothering that is depicted in Amy Chua's memoir is applicable to Su-Yan Wu. So some questions that I started to ask when setting out to conduct my research included, what are the cultural differences between Asian and American parenting approaches? How do excessively high standards impact the psychological health of a child and later an adult? And can a prodigy be cultivated? How does one's personal traumatic experiences influence subsequent generations? And how do identity issues factor into a multi-generational immigrant family? Identity is a huge theme in this story in particular, so I was really curious to delve into that. So, my thesis statement came to me as I collected various research on topics such as Asian American psychology, parenting and parenting styles, the differences between collectivistic versus individualistic cultures. China is a very collectivistic society, whereas America is extremely individualistic, if not the most individualistic society out there or country out there. Also intergenerational dynamics within families, and the challenges inherent to those who have acculturated to the United States. And with that, I crafted the thesis statement that TAN deftly illustrates the unique challenges of intergenerational relations, cultural divergence, and the Asian American immigrant experience, and how those elements influence the stereotypical notion of the Asian tiger mom and its potential consequences for the parent-child relationship. So some of the research methods I employed to gather my sources and complete this essay most primarily concerned SCC's or Sac City's OneSearch function. I received a wealth of results by typing in keywords pertaining to Amy Tan, the Joy Luck Club, Asian American psychology, just to name a few. So I received numerous academic and psychological journals that not only provided insight into the Joy Luck Club, but other related topics that enhanced my thesis and central argument. And upon reviewing the research, I selected the most applicable support for my essay and included it in my essay outline. I also made sure to note the citations in my outline as kind of a shortcut so I wouldn't forget to do so later when I actually wrote my essay, so I didn't accidentally plagiarize someone, which made it much more seamless to integrate my own thoughts with as well and help prompt the essay as I actually got into the flow of writing it. And these are just some of the sources, as you can see here, that were particularly useful in completing my essay. So once I considered all research and got the body of my essay complete, I focused on differences in parenting styles that stemmed from cultural influence and personal life experience. I was able to reassert my thesis that parents who place excessive pressure on their children hinder not only the child's development, but their ability to form a meaningful parent-child bond. This particular essay was really interesting to do. It left a personal imprint on me as well, and it made me more mindful of my own parenting approaches and what the potential outcomes of those may be. So it was a pleasure to delve really deeply into this fine work of fiction, and I thank you all for taking the time to watch this.